Hey everyone, in the video you're about to see, I go through and I work on replacing the keytops on my old 1890 Ivers and Ponds piano. The keytops on that were originally ivories, and you saw in the previous videos, if you've watched those, I actually go through and remove those. So this is the process of gluing on the new plastic keytops. I didn't really shoot an intro to the video as I was filming it, so I'm kind of doing this after the fact and then tagging it on here. So if you keep watching, you'll get to see the process I went through. A lot of time lapsing in this one just because it's a repetitive process over and over again, but you can kind of see and follow along, and I explain at the end kind of how I ended up settling in and finding a process that worked for me. So you get a chance to see that as I go through and do this. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm inside. I've brought a handful of the keys in here, and actually, what I'm wanting to do is go through and maybe start gluing some of these on. So my plan is, as I'm down here and working, maybe I'll go an octave at a time or a handful at a time and just kind of glue these on over the next few days. Bring the keys in inside, let everything kind of acclimate because it's starting to get cold out, especially overnight. So bring them in to glue at room temperature here inside, and then once they're all done, I work through the whole set, and we can go on to do some further work in the keys. I can rebush them and kind of do a lot of that work too as I go. So I've got a couple here just sitting. My plan is to go through and start gluing these on. I got some PVC-E glue that I plan to use for these. And you can see I got the box of keytops. One thing I noticed, if I get in real close here, these keys are almost a perfect fit to the wood, to the point where I've got, it may not necessarily show up, but I may not have to really do any trimming, or in some cases the keys may actually be, if there's any wood sticking out past the edge of the keys, that might come into play too. So I have to position them really carefully as I do this, just to make sure that they go on straight and they don't leave any of the wood overhanging the edges. But that's kind of the plan here. And I guess using PVC-E glue rather than like contact cement is going to help me out here, especially being new at this. So I'm going to test out a couple now, and then I'll go from there. But I brought in the first octave and a couple notes here to start working on these. Okay, so I'm going to try this out here on the first one. We got the first key number 1, and the key top that goes with it. So let me open up the glue here. I've got a glue brush and a paper towel. I got some more paper towels too on the side in case I need it. Never done this before, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, third time's a charm. A little bit of a bead down the length of the key. A little bit on the front too. Oops. So I'll go through here with my glue brush. Just going to spread out the coat. Need to apply a little bit more I can. The excess that I get on the sides, I will wipe up here. Ready to put my brush on. There we go. Sit on there, and I got some masking tape. There we go. There's one. So here we are. I worked through the full set of keys. I got a stack of them here, kind of on my messy table. The last group of them now are glued. You can see, I'll show what I did here. This is really kind of the process I settled in on. As you saw in the time lapse, you probably saw me, I would apply the glue to the key stick itself underneath, the wooden key stick. And then what I would do is I would apply a piece of tape on the front, putting pressure to keep the key pushed into the key stick and down on the front, because what I noticed is they weren't quite 90 degrees here. Sometimes the key fronts would be angled in a little bit more. So the pressure here kept the key pulled onto the key stick all the way. And then I would put 3 pieces of tape, one here on the top, the middle, and the back. And usually what I would do is I would apply one on the front, and I'd apply one here on the back, or vice versa. But I'd get the front and the back set first, and then I would clamp the middle down. And what I found is that way I could make sure the key was, the key top was straight to the key itself, the key stick. Whereas if I did it like from one side and then, in line, if these two were straight but then I was off here, it was a lot harder with tape already in place to move that. So this is kind of the process I ended up settling on and used for most of the keys. But now I've got the whole set done, so I can just go through and peel the painter's tape off and just do this for all the keys and finish everything up. So I did find the blue painter's tape comes off much better than just regular plain old masking tape. I had used some of the plain standard masking tape on the first octave I had done, and that was a lot harder to peel off than this blue painter's tape. So this is working pretty well. Gonna be a little bit of tearing here, but it's not sticking really hard to the wood and peeling the wood off with it. There you go. There we go.